When I saw the film, I just felt it's the same thing that happened in my life growing up in South Central Los Angeles. I'm from the Crenshaw Leimert Park area. I wasn't exactly told, but I knew that my parents didn't want me to go out or to date other races. During World War II, when the Japanese people were sent to camps and they left a lot of communities open, so then more people of color started moving in. And this was very, I guess, scary for the white communities because they thought if people of color moved into their neighborhoods, it would lower the property value and it would become more unsafe. So they had these laws that homeowners could discriminate against who they rented to or who they sold to. We all got along well, I felt. I do recall that people always used to ask me, "What are you?" And I used to hate that question. The high school that my brother went to, he's 4 years older than me, was predominantly white. But because of that, Watts riots, all the white people who were living in inner city Los Angeles either moved out to outlying communities, suburbs, or they bused their children. So by the time I graduated 4 years later, it was predominantly Black and Asian, and there were only 4 white people in my graduating class. In the 1970s, this is during the Vietnam War, there was a leaflet being passed around in the military about how you can get an Asian woman, right here in the United States. And so that photograph with the girl in the middle with her finger up was our response to that leaflet. When the George Floyd situation happened, I felt like this is the same thing we've been talking about for 40 years or so, and it doesn't seem like anything's gotten better. In fact, I think things have gotten worse. How could we improve to respect and to appreciate that which we already have? How can we take care of the earth and our communities? Actually, in college, I attended this Native American morning sunrise ceremony, and there was a young spiritual leader who led the ceremony, and he talked about appreciation and gratitude for all things. That respect and appreciation is what is lacking in American culture. And at that time, I was thinking American culture, but I see it all over the world. I teach Taiko, but I really feel that the most important thing that people should learn in my Taiko classes is the respect and appreciation. Mama created a song that is based on the 5 precepts that we have of bowing when you come into the dojo.
Like respect the sensei, respect the dojo, classmates, instruments, and the art of taiko.
And I also like to add for yourself.
If we could take the time to actually acknowledging each other's differences and be mindful and learn about everyone's differences instead of trying to, let's all be the same. Like, hey, this is the culture that I value, that means a lot to me. And then you express that through your arts.
I spent about 6 months traveling with the interpreter for the Hopi Indian traditional leaders, and he went around the country speaking about the Hopi prophecies. What I learned from him was that I needed to go back to my own culture. I don't think it necessarily has to be from your own culture, but it's learning from the elders and taking those wise things that they have to offer and to teach young people and continue those traditions, because we're getting away so much from all of those things.
So obinoi, just sort of translates as acting, is this really important part of South Asian dance. The whole point of us doing, this acting, this obinoi, and the just intricacies of our hands and how we're positioning our bodies, they're supposed to make you think of certain things, and they're supposed to make you think about a difficult philosophical concept, like how should we run society? What is a good person? Like these deep moral, political philosophy like, how should we treat each other kinds of questions. We want people to think about that in our community so that we'll make a better society. That was the point of art. And this is actually written in, I mean, this goes back to Vedic times. This is very old. And I laughed because I thought, we're just used for our bodies here. We're just used to look entertaining. As a performer, my thoughts as a philosopher, my thoughts as a public intellectual aren't taken seriously, but the exact opposite was intended through our art forms. When I perform Taiko, I see that happen all the time. We keep explaining, like, okay, let me tell you about Bondaiko, let me tell you about this, let me tell you about that. It just gets flattened to like, yay, Japanese things. This is a kind of disrespect. It might seem subtle, but in a way, it's deeply dehumanizing. And they just don't even expect us to have something deep to say, but we're artists. And other art forms are treated like there's something deep to be said. But this is something that I feel like as Taiko players, as Taiko people, like, we have something really important to point out, how the color line is, and how the concept of, us as perpetually foreign is playing out here.
A lot of times people after a taiko performance are just, they think it was really great and amazing. It's not that we want them to do taiko, but we would like them to find the passion in their heart of what they want to do.
Like, we're not just advertising Taiko. Taiko isn't just about Taiko. It's not just about having fun. It's about asking you to think about, what brings joy to your community. It's a call to action in many ways. And so, in a sense, if people are not taking that call to action seriously, it's a way of sort of flattening the understanding.
They have a certain expectation of what that is, instead of actually opening up to listen. Hey, this is my culture. This is the culture that I practice.
It's like these sort of subtle, this is where it's just like clear that they don't actually think you have a brain in there. It's like you're just kind of a robot or animal or something. So, where it's like your feelings and your thoughts are like not considered intelligent or interesting enough. So, yeah. And of course, gender plays into that. We get it from multiple directions sometimes, for sure.
There are important values that you need to grab a hold of and then continue that and teach it and share it. The taiko-ness, of course, we want to honor the history and where did it come from, and also the pioneers. It's evolving, for its taiko-ness. What does it do? How does it affect people, and how can you use taiko to affect people? I think taiko actually has a power to change the whole world, and I think that power has not yet been unleashed.
I think that I believe that too, which is part of what we're doing here.
Check out those 2 links I gave you. I don't know, it might tell you some things about race relations in LA.